This is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast for the week of April 21, 2014. I am the Celebrity Medium. As always, we have a lot of news from the next world to report, so let's get right to it. Michael Jackson, known as the King of Pop, was as famous for his eccentricity as he was for his music when he was on the earthly plane. According to my Afterlife sources, moving on to the next world hasn't tamed him a bit. My source tells me that Michael announced he was going to be doing a show for an intimate audience at an Afterlife nightclub. Those lucky enough to get tickets lined up hours before the scheduled time, as did hundreds of others who hoped to be able to get in somehow. Those who managed to get inside were surprised when the show started, and rather than Michael taking the stage, out walked what appeared to be Diana Ross in a beautiful outfit and full makeup. Many in the house were whispering to each other, baffled by her appearance, as most people there were aware that Ms. Ross is still very much alive. As you may have guessed, Diana was actually Mr. Jackson, dressed up as his longtime friend and mentor. I'm told he did the entire show, which consisted of a number of his hits, as well as many of Diana's, in character as her. While the audience was never filled in about why he chose to perform that way, I'm told that the performance, as well as his impersonation, was excellent. Alan Shepard was one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts and the fifth man to walk on the moon back in 1971. Captain Shepard, who transitioned to the next world in 1998, kept a low profile after he retired from the space program, but he's now back in the public spotlight in the afterlife. Shepard recently opened the first of what he hopes will eventually become a chain of Fly Guy pizza shops. Obviously named after his NASA career, Fly Guy Pizza features a Chuck E. Cheese type theater with robotic figures of the Mercury 7 astronauts singing and dancing to pop music. My source, who was at the opening of the pizza parlor, tells me that Captain Shepard himself was in attendance, greeting the customers as they entered. My source also tells me that he thought the pizza was mediocre, but that the children in attendance seemed to enjoy it, as well as the musical performance. Sylvia Browne was a well-known self-described psychic who made many television appearances, including dozens on the Montel Williams show when she was on the earthly plane. She's perhaps best known for the appearances during which she contacted people on the other side, who later turned out to be alive. As you would imagine, there isn't much call for that sort of thing in the next world, so Sylvia has turned to a new occupation. According to several of my sources, the rotund Ms. Brown has decided that she would like to be, of all things, a pinup girl. To that end, she has begun a rigorous diet and exercise program and has confided in friends that she intends to have extensive plastic surgery. According to a source who spoke to one of her friends, Sylvia says she wants to be, quote, the next Marilyn Monroe, unquote. Sounds like a bit of a tall order to me, but we wish Sylvia the best of luck. Although I feel like I understand the afterlife fairly well, every once in a while a story comes along that changes my perceptions of it completely. This is one of those stories. Now, there is no organized religion in the next world, so I was surprised to hear from one of my paparazzi sources that some afterlife denizens have started a Church of Burt Reynolds. My confusion was cleared up when it was explained to me that the church is a somewhat tongue-in-cheek social group founded by fans of Mr. Reynolds' screen work. My younger listeners to the report may not know that Burt Reynolds was one of the, if not the, hottest movie stars back in the 1970s. I'm told that services at the church named after him consist of screenings of some of his most famous movies, including the Smokey and the Bandit series, during which viewers shout out their favorite lines, and that the congregation dresses up like him including imitating his facial hair. My prime source for this story described the get-togethers as a, quote, hoot, unquote. I guess we'll just have to take his word for that. Now, you may not recognize the names William Hanna and Joe Barbera, but you certainly know their work. Hanna-Barbera, the company they founded and ran for decades, produced a seemingly endless series of cartoons featuring characters like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Smurfs, and Space Ghost. Messrs. Hanna and Barbera both reside in the next world now, and according to sources, they are back in the animation business. Their latest project stars a cartoon version of deceased singer Amy Winehouse. So far, I've only been able to find out 2 details about the intriguing project. One is that the show is going to be titled Amy's Amazing Adventures, and 2 is that it features a family of singing birds who live in a nest inside Ms. Winehouse's trademark beehive hairdo. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear more about this one. Well, that's going to do it for the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast for this week. Please come back next time for more tantalizing gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. I am the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.